Good evening. We are here, and once again, it is our great pleasure to be in your reality. And so here we all find ourselves in your reality. So let's get the specifics off to a good start before we go further, but there's things to talk about. So today is the full moon. It is a Monday here in North Carolina, and the date is 19 of August 2024. And we realize we did a bit of a faux pas, a mistake on our previous recording, and our vehicle missed it, and we said it was 2004. And someone said, it's a 20-year-old recording. Well, you know, we get lots of mail, or our vehicle does, and people write in and they email and they say that they're listening to the old recordings. And they say that they are just as fresh today as they were when they were delivered. Well, that's going to give you something to think about. How does that happen? Well, you know who we are. We are the Ps, the Pleadians, and we've been speaking through our vehicle for many years now, 36 and moving forward. And it's been a very fruitful, beneficial experience for all that have been involved. Oh, sometimes there's some sour grapes and all of that. You'll find that anywhere and everywhere. But you know, you're all part of a grand scheme of consciousness. And just now, well, let's just say coo, coo, coo. Yes, that's the sound of the day. Coo, coo, coo. And of course, well, we'll get to the Pidgey reports a bit later, but just to give you a little peek into Pigeonville, the Puffies, you know, there's Puffy and who did he meet? Puff Ann, and they had Puffa and Puffel and Puffo, and here comes trouble, Puff Hugh. And so the Puffies, they are part of the regiment that is agreed to help humanity, to help uplift your spirits and fly high for freedom. And, well, their duty is to, their mission, let's say, they want us to get this straight. Their mission is to spy on world leaders, yes. And they fly in and out quite harmlessly. Many of you have written and have seen the pigeons on some of their missions and some of their escapades, and well, they've created quite a we would say humans are quite in admiration of these PPPs, as we have called them. That stands for the Pleadian Pigeon Patrol. So, and it's all started with these two rascally pigeons, and they were spying on Nacho Joe Buck Stops With Me, Biden, early on, and well, they just took up a whole new life. And they are inspiration to all of you for what you can do, and have fun at it too. That's very, very important. So the Puffies, just to go back to the Puff story there, they're all puffed up right now, because you remember it was their idea that when Elon Musk, that is who they watch over and they fly into space with, and well, you know how the story goes. And Elon has been known as to be a head puffer, and so the Puffies felt that what better person could they be with to help figure out what's going on, and well, you know all of that. So now the Puffies, just to say, they're puffed up like you cannot imagine. And they say that the word cuckoo that they lobbied for, that they bombardeered for, that they cooed for forever, to have Elon change Twitter to cuckoo. And of course, Elan, being the unique and very unique person that he is, he listened, but he had his own mind made up, because he has a great affection, it appears, for ancient history, without ever really bringing it up, but he has a penchant for throwing ancient myths and legends and truths in the face of all of humanity without anyone blinking an eye and even recognizing how hypnotized they are today into, forgetting the past. Nonetheless, so, as you know, the puppies have said, it's a coup. It's no doubt about it. It was a coup that, let's say, took Nacho, or that version of Nacho, out of the game. And, there's all manner of salacious stories going on, folks. And, let's say the method of communication today, the electronic method, remember, it's all tracked. It's full of not people, you call them bots or some such, and it's designed by AI and patterns of programming or ways of recognition. They call it code and algorithms and such fancy names for creating machines that just operate very, very quickly. And of course, these inventions came out of, just like nowhere. Like someone said bibbity bobbity boo, or Shazam, or some such magical incantation, and kaboom. You are in an elite, advanced, super technological time. And in all truth, friends, what you are being bombarded with, what you are attempting to process, what is confusing the masses, is part of this developmental process. We can call it a soul advancement, a time of great learning, if you want to look at it spiritually. And we propose that you don't just live once. It's a nice song, but it's not true. You live many times, and you accumulate lessons, you accumulate records, and you have your family history, your family records. You call it genetics. You are complicated creatures. There are times when the earth, and where you currently call home, when things are quiet, when they are boring or quite steadfast. But if you study a bit of history, you see that, tumult often comes around, and people have speculated, where does this come from? Is this a satanic force versus a God force? Is this the forces of light and the angels of light versus the forces of darkness, or whatever names you want to describe? And remember, you learn, you advance by symbolisms, by extending your mind with your senses to find meaning. That's probably the greatest technique for advancement, is to seek meaning. But many of you that are seeking meaning in this lifetime, you've walked the halls of the monasteries and the nunneries and the churches and the temples and the you name it, all of the holy places, so called places where gods are worshipped. But eventually the soul, and the soul is the part of you that lives beyond the body, that accumulates experiences, that processes these experiences, and in quite simplistic terms, many belief systems have created a spiritual understanding that, well, if you are good and you do good, or you do acts of redemption, or you ask for forgiveness, or change your dark ways into goodness, then you are rewarded. And that is true. But you're not going to be rewarded necessarily in the terms that you believe in, no matter which religion you are part of. Being in the human body, we've said all along, is challenging because you have been sort of decommissioned over time. And that happens for many, many reasons. Genetic influences, cycles of energy that make relationships between your solar system and the rest of the galaxy, relationships between your galaxy called the Milky Way galaxy and its place in the ever-expanding picture of the cosmos, where there are multitudes upon multitudes of galaxies. So how do you sort it all out? 100 years ago, let's see, that would be 1924. So already people have been lifted off the ground with the aeroplane, and World War I had concluded by 1924, and well, it was the Roaring '20s, and it was an era, and many people were buying their first automobile, as Henry Ford figured out a while earlier how to well, create employment and build things in assembly and move it along. And there was a surge of creativity, inventiveness, but also war. War always lingers in the background, because it appears that there are many, and have been many, who come onto the planet to carry out war, to those who thrive on war, those who continue to do war over and over again, men and women, until they come to a realization that war doesn't really accomplish much except killing, misery, sorrow, stains the land, wears the people out. It's an old pattern that's deeply embedded, not just in your genetics, but it's in the cosmos. You have movies about it. And remember, many of the visual techniques that developed from 1924 onward, let's say, silent movies, and you had newsreels, and well, there it unfolded. And now 100 years later, the people from 100 years ago would hardly know how to, well, drive a car, open a car, start a car, answer a phone, shop in a grocery store. The point we are making is that in most places on Earth, a rapid acceleration of change took place in 100 years. The interstate was connected back in the 60s, 70s, and earlier than that you had electricity being brought to the most remote areas. So things change. That's the important part to understand, and you adapt to these changes. You live within a culture. As we've said, culture can be defined about what you believe and what you think, how you think. Today, of course, thinking is under siege. Well, there's many reasons. Not only are things cuckoo, and back to Joe there, many have been saying, it's a coup, it's a coup, it's a coup. And it is a coup d'etat. It's short for C-O-U-P, meaning a forced takeover. Actually, being when it happened was right at the new moon. It was a few weeks ago on August number 4, and it Notch came out that morning, and well, somehow there was a bulletin that they said he wrote after he made deals, and they threatened and cooed and cooed and cooed and cooed, and so it happens. It's called the removal or the killing of the king. And it happens historically everywhere. It is the guard turning on Julius Caesar, et tu, Brute. There's always those who are paid to eliminate or to elevate. It's a big game behind the scenes, friends. And we're going to meander a little bit into some of the things that are influencing you just now. Full moon once again, so things come to fruition at the new moon 2 weeks ago, just about a new beginning. It was announced that Joe would bow down to another generation and do the George Washington thing. Even since then, his opponent there and handler and whatever, Nancy Pelosi, said that Joe was a preeminent president. Preeminent, that means super outstanding. And that his reign was worthy of him being on Mount Rushmore. Now, that's called gaslighting. And that word has also come into fashion these days, gaslighting. Gaslighting in today's vernacular basically means lies to the extreme, and lies told over and over again. The economy is great. The economy is fantastic. Joe is a preeminent president. There's no problem at the border. We do not have an immigrant problem. The schools are fine. Oh, the jabs were safe. On and on and on. When, if you are a thinking person, even without doing much research, if you just keep your senses alert, and if you are aware of the internet, that means you being aware that you are connected to a psychic field of energy, field of existence, and this field is far grander than anything that you can create. And people have been attempting from time out of mind to bring it into form and to anthropomorphize it or to control it or to pretend that they are this field. And of course, from Druids to pagans to temple worshippers to those who would die for their gods, for those who practice Shinto and Buddhism, and the Aboriginals who understood great spirits and multidimensionality, and some who understood the lizard gods. All around the planet, you have a history of groups of people seeking meaning. Let's say that more than seeking meaning, they noticed that there were anomalies, unusual phenomena, and, let's say, happenings that really captured their attention out of the ordinary events. People of not so long ago didn't live in the United States. You have you have cities of many millions. You go to China, you have many, many, many cities that are 20 million and more. You have a few big cities in India. You have Mexico City. You have Rio. You have the cities of Europe. But some of these cities are gigantic. And people are very, very out of touch with their own beingness. Because, let's say it's difficult to be in touch with the nature when you are surrounded by cement and wires and wireless technology and constant beep beep and buzz buzz and the noises of city. Do all kinds of studies today to say that many people have slippage. This is a nice way of saying they are moving into forgetfulness or foggy thinking or early stages of some matter of dementia, where without peace and quiet and nature's restoration, it's more difficult. You are battling more. And even if you live in a so-called quiet part of the city, it is a psychic explosion all the time, because everyone is broadcasting their own concerns. That's a nice way of saying their fears, their worries, their doubts, all of which we have taught you long ago. That there are some things that you say and do that accomplish nothing. And so trying is not really doing. And living in fear, doubt, worry, these things do not benefit you. Yet in some way, there's more anxiety, more fear, and more confusion in today's world than ever before. And all the accoutrements of the excitement, the thrills of these very, very modern times, it appears it keeps you so hyper-connected that you are not enjoying life any longer. Children are rebelling in school. There's reports from all over the USA. Teachers are leaving in droves. It's not about instruction any longer. It's about putting up with disrespect and problems, not the occasional prankster to make the class laugh. We are going to go today. We want you to think about some things. Think deep. You know, that was something our vehicle came across in China. Old expression there. We believe it was in perhaps the markets of Shanghai or something. It was on a building and it says, think deep, aim high. Not too far from the pigeons fly high for freedom. Yes. Cool, cool, cool. So I want to talk to you today and help you make an assessment of who you are, where you've come from through time, of course, but in the now, where you were and how you were thinking from the early nano years, 1987 through 2012. That would be 25 years where everything accelerated. Some of you were not even born then, but many of you were born far, far before. And of course, during those 25 years, there was a lot to take in. It's nothing compared to what you are being bombarded with now. And at the end of 2012, there was some tumult and turmoil about killings and school shootings and all of that. And from 2013 onward, things have been, things have been turned upside down, reversed. Things have changed meaning. What used to be one thing is now another. And of course, this is 2024. We suggested that 2013 13 through 2027, 2028 would be the years of change over. And we said things would slow down. And they did slow down in some areas. Many things that sped up have forced you to slow down. Monies, for example. Monies, yes. This is going to be a big subject that you're going to be dealing with. You're going to all be setting new priorities. And this is what 2025 and onward will be most important for. And there will be some bumpy adjustments, and of course we've said the word for 2025 is bankruptcy. And many people are already experiencing some of this. But so what we want to have you recapitulate is your life. So relax. It's important to relax. It might be time for a margarita. Someone wrote in and said, oh, they love that suggestion. And so we are going to have you relax. Certainly don't drink and drive, friends. And if we take you into some kind of an imagining where we say close your eyes, well, keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel, as the songs have suggested. And of course, no cell phones when you are driving. So think about the years of your life and how they unfolded and how much they have changed. And what your priorities were for perhaps if you were born in the 30s or even the 20s. We have some listeners that are up there. What have you seen in life? Which decades were the best? What can you see are the lessons of your generation? A generation we have allotted to be approximately every 20 years. And we've given you a few signposts about your generation. Let's see, it was 1939, we believe, until about 1960, that you had the Pluto in Leo generation. If you were born prior to 1939, you would be the Pluto in Cancer generation. That generation was big, long, and that generation, we believe, began about 1910 or some such, perhaps 1912. Prior to that, for some of you great-grandparents, for some of you grandparents, was the Pluto in Gemini, the immigrants. Pluto in Cancer again, through 1939, 2 world wars, defending Cancer, the home front, being adept at homemaking, home protecting, home building, fortifying, believing in the homeland, especially USA. It's a Cancer country, July 4th, 1776. And then you move forward, again, Pluto in Leo, some have said forever young, 1939-ish, about 1960. And then after Leo, of course, comes the more serious ones. And they have often bought into the world's going to blow up any moment kind of thing. And they may be a little too environmentally crazed. That would be about 1961 or 2, thereabouts, until they hit Libra, not too long thereafter, maybe 10 years or some such. And then you have Pluto in Libra, those who are always looking for balance and fairness. They would be from probably early 70s until about 1984. These are approximate windows. Then from 84 to about 96, just those short years there, Pluto in Scorpio. And they play pretty intense. You just think about your friends that were born around the same issues that you are playing out? What are your lessons? And of course, after Pluto in Scorpio, in about 1997 through 2008, you had Pluto in Sag, and then from 2008 until now, just about, you have Pluto in Capricorn, who will be challenged to be the new authority, the new builders of the future, once, of course, everything is sorted out. So, what did you take on in this lifetime? Why did you take it on? What role did your family's genetics play in the lessons that you are here to learn? If you are a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, you are by nature emotional. You use your emotions to interpret reality. If you are by nature fire, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, you are fiery. You want to start things. There is a powerful spirit. There can be a sense of go and do, but also impatience. And water, well, water can be overly emotional, washed away with emotion. But then there are the air signs who think, Geminis, the Libras, and the Aquarians. They have the ability to think. It's very, very important to think. This is what's under siege today. People are not taught how to think any longer because you are so easily influenced. And this is what we are talking about and getting around and having you think about. How easily influenced have you been? Where do you find yourself in emotion, in spiritual energy, in mental energy, or in earthbound energy? The Capricorns, the Tauruses, the Virgos, they'll hold on forever. Sometimes afraid to move, sometimes afraid to make a decision. But they also help to hold things together. They are builders. Each element and its combination of symbolism and how a way can be explored to help you find meaning, not just in the here and now or interactions in the heavens or things that you see on earth, but also who you are. Who you are. You are a being, and each of you has your own importance if you care to claim it. You have a duty, you have a mission, you have a purpose, and yet so often, especially in today's world, people find themselves, they are saying that friendships have fallen apart and people are separated, and of course COVID and the whole lockdown scenario of scare tactics and massive planetary psychological warfare designed to, not to control. This is what psychological warfare is. It's the ability to manipulate one's culture, thinking, and belief system. And the art of it, of course, the whole art of it, is to do it in such a way that those that are influenced or manipulated have no idea that this is what's going on. Now, the term can be called gaslighting. And today, everywhere, you have influencers. They out themselves to you. And it is an avocation today. Yes, ancestors from 100 years ago would think, well, they wouldn't know what to think. An influencer, that's your work. And then you sit in front of a recorder and you talk to a screen, and then somehow people watch you. Your ancestors would find it to be intriguing perhaps for a little while. But they would all say the same thing. It hurts my head. Yes. It would be too much for them. Now, we trust you are relaxing. We trust you remember the methods to relax. Always separate the jaw, relax the tongue. Boom, you are in charge. Focus on your breath. Breathing spiral energy that's vibrant and alive through your nostrils. Spiral it through and down over the larynx into the lungs. And as you breathe, pause a little bit and then do a nice long exhalation. And remember to do this many times during the day, and every time make sure that when you bring the breath in, you go a little deeper, so that eventually you picture this sort of spiral-filled, sparkling, nice-colored energy to the bottom of your lungs. We want you to dive into the deep end of the body, the bottom of the lungs. Too many people swim in the kiddie pool. That means that you just breathe into the area just below the throat chakra and above the heart chakra. That's called shallow breathing. And that'll bring on cognitive collapse faster than many other methods. So please, pay attention. Be grateful you have a body. Enjoy it. Take care of it. And remember, when you relax your body, you give yourself permission to think, to feel, to use your senses, to open perhaps an intuitive line of time. Perhaps an ancestor wants to say hello. But remember, always be in charge of your body. Well, you're all under grave circumstances today because we've pointed out the planet Neptune has been hanging out at 29 degrees Pisces. Saturn's mid-Pisces, and Saturn, Lord of Karma, and Pisces, you can either figure it out and really be on top of it all and like, wow, I made the Olympics of awareness. Or you can get engaged in self-undoing. That is the slippery slope of the sign of Pisces and Neptune together. And Saturn, of course, brings karma. And karma is not a bad thing, friends. It is a law of return. And sometimes, let's say there are situations that are very good that return to you, and people take care of you, they reward you, they have respect for you. And sometimes things happen that, let's say, the nice way of saying it is that I don't remember writing this down on my full moon paper. By the way, today is the full moon, as we mentioned, 27 degrees Aquarius, an air sign. So time for good thinking. And remember, you are thinking about your genetics, about the decades you've lived, about the generation that you are part of, and what you are influenced by. What were the signs of the times that perhaps you fell under the spell? You see, with a little retrospect, distance, let's say, it's easier to see things. It's much easier. And we also have asked you to consider this energy exercise we've done in the past, and we'll just describe it quickly, and you can do it on your own. But if you have a puzzlement, or you just want some peace of mind, just picture yourself getting uplifted in a beautiful comfort basket, and you're going to take a hot air balloon ride. And you can call on the pigeons to be the PPP, the Pleadian Pigeon Patrol, to offer you protection and to guide you on the ride to see things from a distance. Things always look different from a distance. That's just why in retrospect, when you look back on your life, it is easier to see the lessons or what you were learning at the time that you had no idea of. And it is good to contemplate the outcomes of your choices. Are you a good decision maker? Do you have all your pigeons lined up in a row just now? You've taught us much, and we trust that we have given you things to think about. And perhaps if you've done more than thinking, you've taken some of it as very grounded advice. It's one thing, friends, to have the ideal. Ideal, I am a being of light, I create light, I remember who I am, all that, it's wonderful. But how clean is your car? How tidy is your bedroom? How often do you change the sheets and do laundry? How is your personal grooming? And do you have the preparations and the funds to manage what we call the root chakra? That root chakra is a red ball of energy. It is a vibrational center on the body. It is a way of understanding who you are. Just like looking at the full moons and new moons and the elements and the planets and their positions. These are ways to help you find meaning, to help you consciously make wise decisions as you figure out how things work. And if you are listening to our sessions, well, you are obviously on some path to figuring out how things work. So look at your life. Does it work? Are you healthy? Do you believe one thing but do another? Many people today have fallen under the spell of medical tyranny. And rightly so. You had a big propaganda push by some very, very disreputable people back in 2020, and they're all arrogant about it, including Mr. Trump. He still thinks he did a great thing by pushing the jab. And granted, he's been reported to be a germaphobe. So perhaps he was, well, we'll see. So easily influenced. How? By whom? And what? And without judgment or self-beratement and all of that, where did you mess up? What didn't you do that now needs rectification? There is an expression, never too late, and of course depends what you are aiming for, but remember, your attitude and the way you see things, the way you look at things, is going to be a determining factor. And as you gather up as you are going to be confronted with energy changes and political and economic and cosmic and all these changes, you're going to have to shift to new priorities. And do remind yourself, no matter what decade you were born in, you've seen a lot, you are adaptable, and there's always more to learn. But you need people. You need one another. And what the modern tests of the times are is that a large majority of people have become so easily influenced by propaganda. They don't have any idea that they are under spell. You know, it's been reported by many that the term propaganda, some believe, came out of Nazi Germany. And if you've seen any newsreels from the 1930s, as Hitler is coming to rise in Germany, and people gathered to see him in the streets, and a lot of people under a spell. And they really had no idea the spell that they were under. And decades later, they didn't know how to, the survivors, didn't quite know how to process what they participated in. They became fanatiques under a spell, true believers, under the influence. This was all just from someone gathering thousands of people in a public square with an old-fashioned microphone. 1930s. Sounded pretty tinny. But people fell under the spell. Take the political conventions or rally. The true believers show up and there's an energy that takes them over. Just as when you go to entertainment, you get in a field of energy, and the entertainer and the audience are desiring to be transported into another realm of sound and sight and sensory takeover. It happens at sporting events, entertainment events. It used to happen at the Colosseum in Rome. It used to happen in ancient Greece at the amphitheaters. It happened at Rome in Circus Maximus. When large crowds gather, there is an energy that is created. And when they are all focused on the same thing, and they are there in person, it's quite potent. But today, you are just as easily influenced by your little shiny prisons, what we call your deadly devices. And we know it's been our signature duty. That's a nice way of saying we've been harping on you for years, nagging at you, reminding you how damaging screen time can be. Different reports have come out recently and suggested that children between the age of 8 and 20 or some such, they're spending 8 hours a day in front of a screen. That's a full-time job. Some of it for school, some of it, much of it, for social media. So there's a disconnect. One could say that this is a preliminary step to get people so adhered and devoted to their shiny prisons that a generation or two down the road, at the end of this year, you're coming into a permanent Pluto in Aquarius opening for the next 20 years. So that will be into the 2040s, Pluto in Aquarius. And, Aquarius is about humanity, humankind. It's also tremendously about high-tech and tech takeover. And that allows us to segue into another subject matter here. Tech takeover, the elitism of tech. So between Head Puffer Elon there being what looks like a rescuer of the common person who's been cancelled and demeaned, and I'm going to give everyone a platform there, versus whoever the big bad giants are that are the tech controllers who censor and cancel and remove things, and so there's just so much gaslighting and administration of control going on. And of course people were led to believe in the 90s this is going to be the World Wide Web and everyone can have free everything and everything's out there. And we've often said that there's technologies, and all the technologies that you are playing with that are so dangerous have all come from some branch of extraterrestrials. And it is the extraterrestrials, part of their assignment is to monitor you. And different extraterrestrials have come to Earth at different times, and they've had different assignments. You've heard us mention the Anunnaki, and how one of their missions was to mine for gold. Later on, another mission became to get involved in genetic engineering and to create life, to bring life from the cosmos and to use life on Earth and to make life. Yes, this is not a new thing. And so one could say, in your imagining and consideration, that there are groups of beings in the cosmos and around the Earth, on the moon, etc., and they can cloak. Well, there's no doubt about it. Star Trek was right, and it's easy to cloak. Many people have been out and about and looked up and saw some kind of craft, a close-by craft, a saucer-shaped craft, not a blinking light dancing here and there, responding to your consciousness, although those are out there, and if you telepath to them, you'll watch, they'll play all kinds of games with you. But we are speaking about some craft, and then suddenly it's not there. Or someone else is there with someone who sees it, and a few see it and a few don't. Something to think about. So easily influenced, but how? How are things imprinted for you? How do they appear when it comes from phenomena, from another type of reality? You live in a reality that is being defined today, and there's all manner of confusion about what is objective and what is subjective. Objective reality is something that you all agree upon. The sun is the sun, the moon is the moon, it rises in the east, and the earth is round. And yet today there's all manner of reversals. Again, many people are having great difficulty in managing their finances, and yet you are bombarded with the idea, gaslighted, the economy's fine, it's improving, everything's great, or I'm going to fix it on the day one when I get in, and people fall for these things. You fall for things that you want to believe. That's part of it. That's part of it. You fall for things that you've fallen for before. And part of everyone's lesson in life is to catch yourself in your Neptunian fantasies, your Piscean part of yourself that dreams. Dreams are good. Dreams are where you practice and play out reality in all of its versions. But when you wake up, you want to be very Virgo. You want to be in the now, in the body, feeling good, learning about how the body operates in mind and in physicality, and keeping it moving with nutrition and meaningful deeds and exercise and just a joy to be alive. The downside of Virgo, and the sun will be moving into Virgo in a few days, the downside of Virgo is extreme criticism, over and over again, or continuing rumination, analysis. And all these things are very good, but when you go overboard and you have a Big Mac every day, what happened to that guy that did supersizing? He tested out eating McDonald's for 30 days. He got fat and sick. And so variety is the spice of life. Yes, there's no doubt about it, but you have to settle down. Gemini likes to go here, there, and everywhere, and all the air signs like to jump around, and the fire signs like to gallop around. The earth signs say, leave me alone, I'm staying here. And the water signs, well, they want to nurture, and Cancer says, come over for supper. And so it's an interesting combination. And it is important for you to make an assessment and acceptance of your genetics, your lessons. And speaking of lessons, it's very easy now with Neptune at the last degree of Pisces and Saturn there to be triggered and to have old wounds and old memories come forward. And yes, sometimes you think you resolve things or you've learned the lesson from it. But then sometimes things come up, not for you to have boo-hoo and pity parties and I am a victim and look what happened to me and I need reparations and who can I sue, and it goes on, and these are all spirals into disempowerment. When you accept that you are a being that lives over and over again, that you, your life, your soul, your lives, they have purpose, they have intent, that you are a creator and a contributor, and that you can and do affect people, and ideally if you want to affect them in a positive way, your idealisms won't mislead people, because it's very easy to be super ideal and then become fanatical and then lead people astray. And yes, you all flub up now and again, you are human. But the important thing is to live without fear. Fear is how the propagandists control you. And this is what you are facing now in the United States. It's coming into, the seasons are changing. It's going to be Labor Day in a few weeks, and that sort of means the end of the summer. And then the autumn equinox, that would be like mid-September, the sun moves into Libra. Oh, and by Labor Day you're going to be full on into crazy election battles, and everyone is very, very much more influenced than they realize, depending upon what you look at, how much time you have, and it's the old unburdened by, as the Camelot, some are calling her. We'll call her Camelot. We'll call her Magical Camelot. Yes. And the ultimate fantasy candidate. Yes, she's been bolstered up there. And we've got some good pigeon stories about new assignments and retirings and scoops and all of that, and more on what's going cool. Yes, because right now the Democratic Convention is unfolding, and Mercury's retrograde, and will be for another week and a half. The moon is full, and from boots on the ground, it sounds as if chaos is breaking out. There are many who say there's some good food to be had, but lots of protesters have been shipped in. No one knows how they magically appeared. Maybe they got in touch with Peony Pansy, Parsley, and Pepper, and they are timeline jumpers, because those pigeons said there's leaks now going on the timelines, and they say no telling who's going to show up, but that's another story. So, yes, there's demonstrators, and, reports are that shop owners all over are boarding up their shops. Not going to be a big business boom, uplifting everyone's monetary value and economy. Nope, they're boarding up the shops, and they're locking down, just like they did in Minneapolis, the home of the King Cabbage Patch, the new vice president nominee. Some people have said he looks like a Cabbage Patch doll, so we call him King Cabbage Patch, but actually we could call him the King Chinese Cabbage Patch, because he seems to have an extreme affinity for those Chi-Coms. And then there is him allowing all the violence in his city to burn down during, of course, the Summer of Love. So now you have another summer here, 2024, Chicago. All kinds of people are getting ready to face more chaos as the Camelot show unfolds. And speaking of Camelot, is a bit of a segue here. There's a book out. Our vehicle heard a a book report on it. The author, her name is Marine, like the Marines, and from the halls of Montezuma. Those are the Marines. And so Marine Callahan, we believe, and the book is called Ask Not. As in, ask not what your country can do for you, JFK. And it's basically, forget the subtitle, but it's all about the cruelty of the Kennedy men and how cold and, well, how cold and mean they were to their women. And it is quite a shocker. It's not a gossip column. It's Camelot revealed for being so phony. Yet if you were around in the 1960s, late 1950s, 1960s, this idea of Jack and Jackie was sold to America. And of course, by then it was called advertising, not propaganda. It was propaganda under Hitler. And they couldn't use that word, especially when they got into figuring out how easily people were influenced through broadcast media and then through television, as everyone started having televisions in the early 1950s, and the makers of television said, it works so well I'd never let my family near it. And so that gives you a summation there. And so you march on through the 50s and 60s, and suddenly you have all the advertisement. Madison Avenue, it was called, and they switched it to adverts. And they realized with any kind of advertisement, they could control people's behavior. They just fancied up the word. I do remember after the World War II, there was something called Operation Paperclip, where the U.S. government secretly, mostly, brought to this country Nazi doctors, scientists, technicians, in the thousands with their families. Yes. So, ideas from Germany. Ideas that, where did those ideas sprout from? Where did the ideas come from in Germany? What was their genesis? Oh, many say that Wall Street and rich Americans financed the Nazi movement. And that's often the case. People do things for money. They feel far removed from the ravages of war. They are not. Because what you do comes back to you. Do good and, yes, you are rewarded. When you do dark deeds and you bring harm to another or others, it's in your genetics. And it must be healed and understood. Sometimes that healing is an inner journey. Sometimes people go into hypnosis, past life regressions. Some people used to do rebirthing, sweat lodges, Rolfing, all methodologies that people have used to move energy. Because yes, you are skin and bones and physical reality, and you must be in this objective reality. But you also have your own subjectivity, your personal inner fluid beliefs about reality, what you're dealing with. And you must learn to balance the two. That is why we've said keep your chakras lit up and lined up, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, and keep a nice flame going in your aura so that you show that you are in charge, and keep it close to the body, nice golden color with a bit of rose, and make sure you're grounded in. Make sure your feet are on the ground and you feel good about your feet on the ground. And if you have any manner of feet problems, which we know people do at times, remember, a small soak, a few dabs of essential oils can bring great relaxation. You have lots of nerve endings in your ears, in the palms of your hands and the bottom of your feet. And so a nice foot rub, or put some essential oils. We are big on putting magnesium in the body to help the legs relax if you have any kind of restless leg or cramps or something. Epsom salts, just a half a cup or a cup in a nice few inches, 4 or 5 inches, around little tub of water, and soak your feet. And add a few dabs again of essential oil. Some orange is nice. We are big on neroli. It's very, very sensual, relaxing. Frankincense is very protective and supportive. And go to the store and sniff a few out. Treat yourself. It's an easy way to bring yourself into a greater sense of well-being. And you do this by doing good things for yourself. You all deserve the responsibility to take care of yourself. And when you don't take care of yourself and do these little self-care things, you pay the price. So, this is important to keep all these things in consideration. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to take in. And, well, some are calling these mind-numbing times. We would say, well, these are times that can test the soul. Lots of lessons. You will learn how to set up your priorities. So, behind the scenes politically, there's a lot of scrambling, a lot of panic. There's a lot of running on fumes, obvious lies. Some people say it's so astonishing. There's a new level of lunacy every day. It's chuckling, but, well, it's very true. Things are coming out, and it's difficult to tell what's true and what's not true. But do remember, you are here to witness. You are here to figure things out. And sometimes there's more going on than you realize. And this is why to retreat to nature will give you the recharge. So get the clippers out, or go bring out the chaise lounge and make yourself an afternoon tea or whatever it is that you are enjoying. No matter how things work out politically in the USA, the economy is really suffering. And budgets and cutbacks and broke and bankrupt and austerity are all around the corner. You are, as a country, way, way, way overextended. And think about your life. Where in the past have you been overextended, emotionally, mentally, physically? What can you do to simplify? What can you do to bring greater peace? On the economic level, the reports are from everywhere that there's been huge declines in customer spending. And recession has been bandied about, but there's some difficult times ahead. So do your best to live simply, to be prepared, get out of debt. We've been saying this for decades. And pray. Yes, pray. So, you are in desperate need as a people from one end of the world to the other. You are in desperate need of a recognition of a higher power. A higher power that does not say it's going to save you, and a higher power that does not demand awed reverence and worship. The recognition of this higher power is your connection with your consciousness to the meaningfulness of life, your life, all of life. And understand today that there's lots of belief systems that are being tested. People have been triggered. Old wounds, memories are open, and there's lots of stuff people are carrying out on the medical, pharmaceutical rearrangement level that they're outlandish. But wherever you are, your life experiences are coming to the surface. And what you are seeing on a big level out there, under the influence, the masses are tranced out. And you are, as a people all over the world, deeply divided. Not sure which way to go and what to do. You're under the influence. And just like under COVID, there was mass delusions. And just understand how easily you are influenced to buy something, to think a candidate is the greatest, to put your vote behind something, to fall for a scam. These are all testing you in these times to see if you can figure out what's going on, to stay grounded, and to be fully present. And early September, you'll have Pluto, it's retrograde, it will go back to 29 degrees Capricorn. It will be there till the end of November. Lots of systems will break down. Lots. All over the world. And then a few days later, Neptune will back off 29 degrees to 28 degrees, but it's still going to be testing your mass delusions, your over-enthusiasm for something, your over-rumination, your fanaticism. Be aware and don't go cuckoo. Just remember, you are here to witness. And one of our long-term students, Sparky, she wanted to acknowledge that it appears that as people, you are in the hard part now. And as you have to witness other people make very bad decisions, and the consequences of their decisions, whether they were economic, whether they were medical, however, yes, you are in the hard part, and you have to hold frequency. And Sparky wants to know, as a people, are we on the right track? Are we on the right probability? Let's say that every thought that you have towards peace and harmony and understanding higher consciousness, that holds those probabilities open. And we did say that the probs shifted when the wings of Pleadians, just so generously, had former President Trump move his head. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. It changed everything. Did it change Mr. Trump? Well, that's yet to be seen. That kind of experience is designed to truly bring humility, to truly bring a sense of respect for what you are connected to. So, how near are you to finishing a phase? Again, this phase you are in will go through 2027, 2028. Next year, lots and lots of things change. It looks as if there's going to be some big battles this fall for control and for influence, but there'll be many more insertions. He, the omniscient pigeon, the ultimate out there, Providence. So be aware. Think clearly. Write things down. Don't carry unnecessary burdens with you. And ponder your soul and what its purpose is. Think about some of the most exciting things that happened in life. What were some of your best times? What were your best lessons? And if you had the power to travel in time, and you could do a bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, who and what would you change just to bring a little more grace, a little more healing, a little more comfort? Play with the props, friends, in your mind. the imagination is exceptionally powerful. As we've often said, it's your ticket to ride. So let's go and to the pigeons. We'll finish up there with the OMP, coo, 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 what the puff. So we told you the puffies are all puffed up and they keep pestering Elon that X, naming in the platform X, was just a huge mistake, they say. And they say that the best real name is Cuckoo. They're going to keep working on him. And the more you hear, coo, coo, no doubt a coup. All that's in reference to Biden being overthrown, but a little hint here, friends, there's many more coups going on behind the scenes. Word has it that, there's roundups taking place, and good guys are looking for not so good guys, and, we told you that Peony, Pansy, Parsley, and Pepper, the time jumpers, they said there's been some leakage on the timelines, and, more slipped in than they were anticipating. And they were opening the rejoicing and all the barns and buildings across the world, the whole world, and they had to confess that things got a little carried away. And being pigeons, they're not blaming themselves or anyone else, but they just want you all to be aware that not everyone you are meeting may come from the same line of time. And then Peanuts and Popcorn, of course, they know that Notch has been cuckooed, but they're going to stick with him. Whether it is an AI, a clone, a drone, a mask, they're sticking with him because there's more scoops. And then, of course, their youngins, Pretzel and Popo, they are now beyond themselves. They got themselves in trouble recently with shaving cream and Nacho and all of that, but they are now making promises to think first and to behave later. They have been assigned what they call the ultimate assignment, with ultra underlined. They are reporting from magical Camelot. And, they're going to be unburdened by many things. And so one more idea in closing. We said to you there's no doubt that a coup has taken place. But sometimes these coups occur on a technological level. And the tech influence today is way, 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 way ahead. It's super advanced. Just think about the movies. And there's a lot of AI data sets that are secretly running things, whether they are drones, clones, artificials. And this tech has really been in super control, influencing everything about your beliefs since the end of the nano years. But there are supernatural powers, and there are forces from other places, dimensions, that, they work to help you out. And so do remember that it's easy to be under the influence, and so find nature, go back to nature, enjoy being in your body, enhance your awareness, appreciate it, be peaceful for who you are, and knowing, yes, this may be the hard part, but there's always good days ahead. And we are creators, you are creators, we are all here for the revelations that the times offer us, the good times, the exciting times, the thrilling times to be alive. So, without further ado, remember, even though there's a lot to take in right now, many lessons to be learned, enjoy life. Enjoy the foods and fruits of the season wherever you are. Create the very best, dear friends. And as always, we truly appreciate your considerations of these matters. Pleasant journeys. Good evening.